This is something that I'm doing, and I continue to put myself in these situations. That's filling the gap. That's how you're able to take a situation and actually remedy it. What's up, y'all? Cody here, and welcome to the first episode of the Fill the Gap podcast. This is the first episode, so why the hell am I here? What do I want to talk to you guys about? What can you expect from this podcast? I guess I'll start with who the hell I am. So I am a current businessman. I hate the word entrepreneur, so I won't use that, but we'll say I own businesses, right? I guess that's the best way to put it. But more importantly, at least more importantly to me, I'm a former collegiate athlete. What sport did I play? I played the best team sport that there is. That's football. Want to debate it? Do it in the comments, because there's no argument on my end. It's football. The reason why I bring that up is because the name of the podcast. Like I said, I've done hundreds of podcasts. This is the new series, or this is a new one that I've been wanting to start for some time now, because I want to touch on a lot of subjects that are really important to me as a person, a man, an individual, a brother, son, whatever the hell it is, boyfriend. I'm a football guy. That's why it's called Fill the Gap. Am I going to be talking about sports? No. And I'm sorry if you tuned in thinking that this was going to be some sort of Mike Ditka homage, whatever the hell it is. For those of you that don't know football, I already lost you. But the Fill the Gap podcast, what the hell is it? Why the hell am I talking about it? So I guess to start, I can let you guys know a little bit about me. Played Division I college linebacker, and I've had every up and down you can think of in life, just like most people have. And that is why we're doing this podcast. That's why I'm doing this podcast, is why you're listening, is because I want people to be able to reach out to me, talk to me about things that have gone on in their life. I want people to be able to relate to some of the things that have gone on in my life. But yeah, like I said, so the Fill the Gap podcast. I played defense. I'm going to get into the X's and O's of football a little bit right now. For those of you that don't understand, bear with me. I promise we'll get back to the good shit. But so football. I played linebacker, filling the gap. Like I said, this is the best team sport, right? Because I have a responsibility that whatever I do determines the success of my team. I'm on defense. The fat, ugly guys are on offense. We'll just say the A gap. That's my gap. That's the gap between the center, the guy who snaps the ball between his legs, and the fat guy next to him, the guard. The reason why I bring this up is because those of you that have filled the gap or played linebacker specifically, you know that filling the gap and having gap responsibility, but it's a football thing, requires a certain attitude, a certain effort, and a certain honesty with yourself about the effort and attitude and discipline that you're putting in. Theoretically, if we're just draw it up on paper, football is easy, right? You take me and you put me in the gap, and then the offense, the guys across from us, the enemy, they're not going to be able to run there. But for anybody that knows, filling the gap is one of the hardest things that you have to do in football. So what does it require? It requires, like I said, massive amount of effort, a relentless attitude, and the ability to do things when they are extremely tough and sometimes even scary in order to be successful. And it's not a one-time deal. It's something that over the course of a game and over the course of your career happens over and over and over and over and over, right? Filling the gap. And I promise, like I said, I'll get out of the football shit in a minute. But it matters. So, why does filling the gap even matter in the instance of what I'm talking about? What is my podcast about? My podcast is going to be about things that happen in life, hardships. It's going to be about relationships. It's going to be about business situations. It's going to be about things that happen to everyday people all the fucking time. So, in order to fill the gap, you have to bring a fucking effort. You have to bring a badass attitude in order to be successful doing it. So, The way that I have this parallel over to things that happen in life are, for example, if you have a problem in life, you cannot lie to yourself about the root issue. You have to face that head on if you want to have any chance in hell on actually being successful in filling the gap or conquering this exact issue. An example that I'll use. And the big thing about it is don't lie to yourself about what the actual issue is, or else you're gonna get steamrolled every single time. And this issue will continue to resurface in your life. But like I said, an example that I use. Let's say that you have been in 0 successful relationships and you continually say, oh, you know what? Guys out there suck, which most of us do. I'll admit that. Guys suck, guys cheat, guys do this, guys don't put in effort. What is it? What the fuck is it? If he wanted to, he would. Oh, miss me with that. And never once do people look and say, hey, why am I choosing these particular type of people? I'll use myself as an example because I know that people are gonna be a little bit triggered by the idea of having to take accountability for their actions, but I'll use myself as an example. I'm a huge advocate of therapy. I've been going to a therapist now for like a year and a half. And it originally started as something that I was going to be doing because I was like, all right, I want to be more successful in business. And I wanted to mentally be able to overcome any hurdles that came in front of me. And it ended up being like an enlightening experience because it just taught me so much about myself and my habits and my patterns. The reason why I bring this up is because I'm someone that dated the same person for basically the last 10 years of my life. This is something that somebody who's licensed and professional told me, right? But it's true. I dated the same type of person for the last 10 years of my life. But I would constantly be like, oh, well, like relationships don't work out. It's them, it's not me. That's something that I would think. I wouldn't outwardly say that, you know? But I never really took a hard dive at like, all right, cool, Cody, why are you doing this? This is filling the gap. This is understanding what the actual issue is. What everybody always thinks is the issue, oh, there's no good guys out there. Oh, there's no good girls out there. There's nobody that's good enough for me, right? That's a byproduct of what the actual issue is. The actual issue is that maybe you have codependency issues and you attach to people that really you shouldn't be attaching yourself to. You're attaching yourself to people that have certain personality traits that you're attracted to that aren't necessarily good for the type of person that you are. But rather than being like, oh, that person sucks, you gotta look internally and be like, hey, this is something that I'm doing and I continue to put myself in these situations. That's filling the gap. That's how you're able to take a situation and actually remedy it versus just complaining about the same outcome that you continue to get. That's facing a problem head on. I'll give you another example. Somebody that's a habitual cheater, right? They're always cheating every single relationship that they get in. Like, oh, well, my problem is I continue to cheat, right? Problem isn't actually that you continue to cheat, because you can't just fix that. The problem may be the real problem may be maybe you lack self-confidence and you feel inadequate in some capacity, right? And so you need that gratification outside of your relationship. You need to feel like you're in control of something. You need to feel wanted by other people. This is something that I see so frequently in today's relationships. And while we're on the subject, about 90% of people in relationships should not fucking be in relationships. I'll repeat that. 90% of people in relationships should not be in relationships. I was once one of those people because I hadn't done the work on myself in order to make myself good enough to be in a relationship. Not just good enough for someone, but good enough to be a good asset in a relationship. I wasn't good at relationships, right? So the point that I'm making is, is that sometimes, and often you see sometimes people that are constantly cheating or constantly looking outside their relationship is not because, oh, social media is the devil.